Why won't you sign it?
Let me explain something to you about business, since, as usual, you're turning this into something about yourself. No contract means I have all the power. They want me, but they can't have me.
You're right.
I need to calm down. Who is he visiting? Is this Charles Whitmore?
Wake up, Charles.
Ooh. I'm about to give this man a knife. It's about to be a bloody birthday. Yeah.
Are you ready?
MADMEN. Welcome back to the channel. MADMEN Season 2, man. Episodes 5. Is episodes? No, one episode. Episode 5. Brilliantness at work here. Lots of commentary to be made. Loving the show. Love watching the show. I know. Last episode I had a lot to say. And this episode I'm probably going to have a lot more to say. Continuing with this situation here. Just peering into these people's lives and, you know, having something to say. It's very interesting. So, well, we'll see if we'll definitely get to see if MADMEN lives up to, you know, continuing the theme of what it is. I'm just thinking that Betty will become a better person. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of stuff that Dawn does that she doesn't deserve, and I speak on it just as much as I speak on her as an individual as well, and how she goes about things. And I think the whole housewife thing is getting to her, and I mean, that's what you sign up for. That's what you sign up, especially back in the day. Like, you don't really have women in the workplace. I think this was after, you know, women was going out in the workplace and stuff like that. So you could, you know what I'm saying, you could have chose to do something else. I mean, she was doing, you know, the modeling, all of this other stuff. She could have followed in those footsteps and go about, but she chose to get married and get kids, fell in love, blah blah blah, all this other stuff. So now you're a housewife, and I think it's getting to her. So let's see how she progresses from here. So is what it is. If you guys want to see more episodes of MADMEN, you want to watch them early, make sure you go check out the Patreon, check out the membership on the original channel. Links are down in the description, man. Anyone who wants to support, that's where you go to support. All right, thank you guys so much. I appreciate y'all. Let's jump into the reaction. I will see you guys right after for the review. Still trying to have a baby.
Mr. and Mrs. Campbell? Now, I am going to ask you some questions together and more intimate ones separately. How long have you been trying to conceive?
18 months? That sounds like a long time, is it?
Prior to the decision to conceive, were you using birth control?
She was.
I used a diaphragm, although it's possible I didn't need to.
Did your testicles descend normally?
Absolutely.
And have you ever fathered a child?
No.
Not
Have
that
you
you
ever
know
had
of.
difficulty completing the sexual act?
But no, I always reach home base.
Do you have difficulties with arousal?
Jesus. I'm a red-blooded American male, okay?
No one is questioning your manhood, Mr. Campbell. Fertility has nothing to do with manliness.
That's true.
Do you want to have a child?
What kind of question is that? Of course I do. Bomb.
Do you worry about the world?
Occasionally. I'm an account man. I spend half my day tiptoeing around creative crybabies, and the other half drinking with ungrateful turnips who just fell off the truck. Then, you throw this baby thing on top of it, the economy contracting, my in-laws.
Yes, yes, it's a lot.
Do you think that has something to do with this? It doesn't. I mean, I try not to think about it.
Well, that'll do it, Mr. Campbell.
I think I feel better already.
Can you send in your wife? And then I'd like you to schedule a time with a nurse for a semen analysis.
Mr. Draper.
Miss Macon?
Actually, it's Mrs. Katz.
What?
Katz and Tilden.
Pleasure.
Really?
Draper's firm did some work for us a while back, advertising.
Bobbie Barrett.
Oh, I'm sorry. Mrs. Barrett's husband is a comedian who works with me.
Nice to meet you.
Tilden. I love comedians. Now, Rach, we don't want to miss the curtain. We have seats for a funny thing happened.
Oh, it's wonderful. So, I would like some really good chow.
Should we go elsewhere?
We can. So, tell me what I want.
Steak tartare.
Oh my God, you're good. Do a nice price on the pilot.
You really do his business, don't you?
If it wasn't for me, it wouldn't be Grin and Barrett. It'd be Grin and Brownstein. This is America. Right after I met Jimmy, I watched somebody's Uncle Morty close a deal for him. And I realized I negotiate for everything.
Negotiating is a bore.
It's hand-to-hand combat. Do you like the ocean?
Yes. Yes, I do.
I have a little place in Stony Brook, right on the shore. I want to have you on the beach. Feel the cold sand on my back, with the surf pounding behind us.
It's a little too, sexual.
I can smell the ocean.
Doing different things. This woman is relentless, man. Sheesh. This man really just...
Mr. Draper, your wife says that the whiskey was hers, but you did fail the sobriety test. Fine's $150.
May I? I have $63 and some Subway tokens. I'll mail you the rest.
I need you to pay the fine tonight. Now, it's just $150. It's within my rights to detain you.
What is the problem?
People's kids are out on that road, sir. Or maybe your wife has a friend.
Why is this cop so aggressive? You actually call Betty. Peggy?
$110.
Hey, that's enough.
Peggy, do you have a roommate?
No.
I don't know.
No, you should stay with me.
It's faster to take the Grand Central to LaGuardia.
I don't have any clothes. I wish I was your size.
No one in the office can know about this.
You'll have to believe me that I'll forget this. I don't want you treating me badly because I remind you of it.
Are you okay? What happened?
By the time I could call, I didn't want to wake you.
Wake me. I've been awake all night.
And I have high blood pressure.
What the hell, Don?
It's fine, except he gave me a prescription, and I think the pills mixed with the drinks was too much.
I've been up all night. And now I find out you're sick? And you could have died?
What did you want me to do?
You should call me.
That's true.
my
You
wife.
should have called your wife.
Problem, Bats. I need a clear head. You can't get all hysterical.
promised you wouldn't disappear like that anymore. My father has high blood pressure.
I'll swing by Dr. McGladdery on the way in.
How are you?
I don't know. Jimmy called. He wants to meet with me.
He does? I talked to him. I'm covered. Believe me.
I do. Are you okay?
I guess. You have a boyfriend?
No, I don't.
So, are you in love with him?
No.
Not a ridiculous question. Are you?
It's a personal question, and I've already answered you.
Aren't you gonna ask me if I'm in love with him?
It's none of my business.
Peggy. Peggy, have a conversation, man.
You're so young and
Sheesh.
beautiful. What do you want? Are you just some busy little bee building a hive out in Brooklyn? You have to start living the life of the person you want to be.
Is that what you did?
You're never gonna get that corner office until you start treating Don as an equal. And no one will tell you this, but you can't be a man. Don't even try.
It's good advice.
How
It's
is
actually
business
good
not done
advice.
correctly?
And the thing about it is this, I've been pointing this out about Peggy.
How do I get to Grand Central from here?
She's trying to take on all these masculine
Walk you
traits.
to the train.
That's
to
not
Rock
really her, if you will. You know what I'm saying? And yes, it pays off in some way, and that's what I'm saying. Like it's very hard to do, but you can do it. It's very hard what she's telling her to do
How was your
a lot of
day?
time, especially in the
Spectacular.
industry that she's in. But
Doc called Bert Peterson a mongoloid. How is Dr. Stone?
I didn't ask.
it's hard to
but the nurse
maintain.
said that your sample was quite viable.
Yeah, so you're the problem. We already know this. This wasn't a mystery to us. We know that you're the problem, right? Because we know that we know that he's fertile with you know what I'm saying? He already has a kid. So what I wanted to say, because I don't want to keep talking over the show, Peggy, I've been pointing this out about her character, the character changes that she's been through so far in the show, which is she's trying to be this masculine person, right? I believe that no woman is born masculine. You get what I'm saying? And I know it's like a hot topic these days when we talk about women in their masculine energy, because you find more and more now that you find a lot more women that comes off extremely aggressive, and it's just like they don't know. It's like they don't understand that that's a huge turnoff for men, right? Men don't like to see that. We don't like to see it. And if men, the only time men are okay with that shit is men who grew up around masculine women. When they grow up around masculine women, especially a lot of single moms, have to tap into some sort of masculine energy to raise their kids if they're single moms, right? To some degree, not always to like take over their character or anything, but when you experience that, you kind of think that that's what women are supposed to be when it's really not. So in the industry that Peggy is in, or at least for the job itself, right? Pretty much, sorry to say, but it's the truth. You have to take on some sort of masculine traits to get where you want to go. You can't really remain feminine to get to those places, because as you can see, if you want to be in the room with the big boys, you know what I'm saying? You got to be able to take the punches and give them as well. And a lot of women, sorry to say, they can't do that. And they will complain. And that's why you have so many different things happening in the workplace today, because, hey, just like how that guy, he comes out and he can play Mozart on his zip, he can do that to another male employee and a male employee don't feel no sort of way. Well, today maybe, you know, a male employee might report him for doing something like that because, you know, this soft generation that's coming up today. But that's something usually on generally wouldn't get reported by another guy. Do that to a woman today, they're going to report you easily. They're not even going to hesitate to do that, right? So that's something, that's the locker room talk that you would hear people talk about, oh, that's you know, toxic masculinity and all of this other stuff. And it just goes to show you that that stuff can happen and two dudes in the workplace could laugh about it. You get what I'm saying? But that's the environment that you would be going into because it's the majority of, you know, male, you know, people that you would have to work with in these offices and stuff like that. So a lot of times you might find one or two women in that crowd and they got to learn how to be in that crowd and not get offended because men are not going to stop doing or stop being men because you are there. So now you got to take on these masculine traits about yourself, right? That's not in your nature and you got to pretend to be that. And you can see that she's trying to portray that masculine stuff about her just to be one of the boys, if you will. And it's just not it's working for her, but it's not working out for her. I don't know what I just said, but I don't know if you understood what I just said. So it's working for her in the sense that you know, it's getting her, you know, better position, being able to be in the meetings, make pitch, and made her a copywriter, all of this other stuff. It's working out for her in that way, but it's not working out for her in the sense of what's going on outside of work. You get what I'm saying? Like she's still, that's why I tell you, that's why I said it. It feels like that's exactly how men have conversations. Like it's weird with you know what I'm saying, with a little bit like less elaboration about stuff because we're very to the point if we're discussing something or we're trying to talk about something serious. So it's just kind of weird how she's just like, how she's acting like that. And I'm glad that she said it to her because she's like, you don't have to be that way. You can still be a woman and still get to, you know, to heights. You know what I mean? So that's just crazy.
Is that right? It's a viability.
This insensitive idiot, bro.
What? This is good.
For you dumb.
This is what you
It's
wanted,
good for you.
No, you're right. It's a relief. Peter, I can't believe you.
This dude is an
You wanted to
idiot,
do this.
bro.
You had to know this was a possible outcome. Get back here.
But you're being insensitive, you dumbass, bro.
I didn't think it through.
That's honest.
Yeah, and you used to be a little bit more empathetic about it. That's your wife.
Who says we have to do this? Except for what? It's the next thing we're supposed to do?
But it is. It's natural.
Says who? I was having a great time. I mean, you have a baby. You can't travel. You can't go to the movies unless you have help. And that's expensive.
What is this? Look on the bright side kind of bullshit.
Immature,
Get the
Peter,
fuck
you
out
know
of here.
that? Express some concern.
Exactly.
Stop talking about how you're going to miss seeing Cape Fear for the third time.
I know one thing. I sure as hell wouldn't want a kid here watching this, Donnybrook. Either you make it through this thing or you just keep it to yourself. I'm giving you that option.
Stop. I'm sorry. It's just, I really do want a baby.
Such a
What is all
jerk,
this
if you
for?
will. I hate using that word. Wow.
Right now?
I can't believe he actually ended up making her apologize. And he's absolutely in the wrong for acting that way.
Jimmy, Mrs. Barrett, you look good.
You don't? What happened to the flipper there?
Old football injury.
Yeah, I get those too. Yeah, We all got what we wanted, didn't we? What I'm trying to say is the way I behaved, I wouldn't have been surprised if you would have, you know, looked the other way on this thing. Blocked it up. I just wanted you to know that I'm not a bad guy.
You came all the way over here to say that?
I know that.
Nobody knows that.
Where's the salt?
Blood pressure, nigga.
No salt?
No
See,
salt.
Get used to it. It's for your own good.
It's a Mad Men season 2 episode 5. That was definitely one of my a very chill episode. Some stuff happened there, of course. Some stuff happened in the episode. I'm not saying it was completely, you know, out there, but this episode really showed me a few things where I have to talk about in this review. A few things about certain characters, and it's like I was wondering what happened, you know, during that time when Peggy had the kid, and you know what I'm saying, we just kind of like pushed it aside because I was really wondering if they were gonna fill in the blanks of, you know, what she went through during that period of how it became. Listen, I don't know how far they skipped because they didn't tell us. They didn't tell us because if she had a baby in the 60s, I thought the show was in the 50s anyway. So there was a clear time skip that happened between season 1 and season 2, but they didn't actually tell us like how far ahead it went. I don't think it's, you know, like years or anything like that, but there was a time skip that happened. So the situation with Peggy and Don going to see her and tell her to move on is that do what they tell you to do and move forward, forget about it. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like what he did with the whole army situation, you know what I'm saying? That we got to see about him, you know, moving forward, moving past, you know, those, you know, but I wouldn't compare the two in my opinion. Like, I would not compare the two, period. I just wouldn't compare the two because it's just so, you know, that's her, you know, not really abandoning the child, because we know that she didn't really abandon the child, just basically give her mom the baby to take care of because she wanted to pursue her career, you know what I'm saying? And the thing about it is this, you know, when it comes on to, you know, drawing parallels from a TV show and to nowadays, you see how people are and the way how, you know, with the situation that happened the other day with Roe v. Wade and all of this other stuff with this whole abortion stuff and all of this other stuff that is going on in society today, and then, and you know, being the government giving you the permission, right, to do these things. It's like, oh, it's taking away their rights and all of this other stuff. Listen, abortion is only it's a way to avoid consequences. You want the government to save you, and that's why you are asking, or that's why you want this right. This is your body. If I don't think that the government should regulate it. That's my stance on it. I don't think the government should regulate it. I don't think any state in the United States should regulate it. I think if it's something that women want to do, they can go do it. You get what I'm saying? They can go do it. Understanding the consequences of what it is. Because the thing about it is this, right? When you try to save people, or you're going to say, okay, you have the right to do this, or you're going to use that to, you're always going to have the narrative that, you know, the government is trying to control and all of this other stuff, right? I'm a extremely pro-life person. But if you do that, I consider you committing murder. You killing a baby, abortion is murder. That's what I believe, right? It doesn't, you know, people should be able to exercise their free will. You get what I'm saying? Because a lot of people, you know, have heard me talk about this before, and they think that I'm saying that, you know, women shouldn't have any rights or they shouldn't have rights. And no, it's not about that. I don't think the government should regulate it. You get what I'm saying? And I don't think doctors should provide it either. I think that if that's something that you want to do, you get what I'm saying? Figure out a way to do it yourself. You get what I'm saying? Figure it, because it's your body, right? It's your body. Figure out a way to do it yourself. Figure out a way to push your hand up in there and pull that baby out yourself. Or I don't know. Whatever the situation is. Because if it wasn't something that medical people could do, you would not be doing it. Period. You wouldn't be doing it. Or you would figure out some way to sterilize yourself or whatever the situation is. Right? So I don't think the government should regulate it, and I don't think doctors should be performing it. Right? That's my stance. That's my belief, because I believe that no matter how you cut it, no matter what you say, I believe that life starts at conception. That's just what I believe. So if the avenue wasn't there for you to be able to do it, it can't be. If you really want to practice abortion and you really want to do it, why does somebody else have to do it for you? Why does somebody else have to do it for you? Why is it that you can't figure out a way to do it yourself? It's your body, right? Your choice, your body, right? Your body, your choice, whatever, right? Why is it that you can't figure out a way to do it? Because it's just wrong. But when it comes on to Peggy and what she chose to do, because I don't think, maybe back then they were doing abortions. I don't even know. I don't know. I don't know how far medical advancement has come, you know, back in the 60s. I don't know. I wasn't alive, right? So the worst thing about it is that she's not paying attention to this kid at all for advancement, and you see that a lot in today's women, because that's the reason why. It's like, oh, so what if I'm not ready to be a mother? Well, there's plenty of people out there who want kids and can't have kids, as you can see in this episode as well. Right? There's plenty of people who out there who want kids and can't have kids, and they're willing to adopt kids. You can give up your kid for adoption. It's better than throwing out the life. You know what I'm saying? But I gotta carry the baby for 9 months. Well, guess what, honey? You didn't have to lay down with that man. That is a consequence of having sex. Sorry. I can't sit here and pretend like that's not a part of the process. You opened your legs. Women don't want to get, having your virginity these days, it's like a scar on your soul. That's how people make it seem. You can pursue your career and not have sex. How about that? But you want to have it because, oh, is it that? All of these excuses. Well, guess what? There's so many different forms of contraceptives as well that can avoid pregnancy. But no, you just let dudes just shooting up the club, right? It's pretty much what's happening. And the reason why I'm spending so much time on this point here that I'm trying to make is that you have this narrative out there with women nowadays. And I'm not saying that women shouldn't work, right? It's not what I'm saying. Because you have to work, you have to get the bag, whatever the situation is. Because you're not going to find your husband, you know what I'm saying, like now. Even though it's, kind of easy. But, you know what I'm saying? But it's just that, on top of the fact that you want to work, and on top of the fact that you want a husband, on top of that, you want your husband to be making six figures, because you feel like if you marry a dude that's making $60,000-$70,000 a year is settling. On top of all of that, right? When you actually look at it, that's why you out here just throwing it to everybody. You want to enjoy your 20s, and then in your 30s, now you want to come throw your used self to some dude, you know what I'm saying, that's supposed to accept you now in your 30s after you done throw it to every woman, man, whatever. You know what I'm saying? You're used up. I'm sorry, but that's just that's the reality of it. You know what I'm saying? Right? And having a low body count is so much better than having a high body count. I'm pleading with my female viewers out here. If you're out here throwing it to every Dick, Tom, and Harry, stop it, man. It's not gonna help you in the long run, because men are getting smarter. They know what's going on out there, especially if you're looking for someone who's making a decent amount of money, that's going to court you and wife you. And I know it has nothing to do with, I know you're going to say that it has nothing to do with you know, your core values, but guess what? Men are visual creatures. That has not changed since the beginning of time. It has not changed. We're visual creatures, man. That's why we don't ask for much when it comes on to relationship. That's why we don't ask for much, because the visual can carry it. You get what I'm saying? We meet you, you're looking good, you know what I'm saying? And that's a reason why, you know, women also hide their body count. They don't want nobody to know. They're ashamed of it. They're ashamed of it. You know what I'm saying? We're very visual creatures. And if you look decrepit, and we know, if we get the box, we can tell if it's been worn out. You know what I'm saying? We could tell. There is books all over the place that men can read. There's the internet. This is not back in the day when we didn't have resources to know that stuff. We can look it up. Hey, you know what I'm saying? You can know when a box is worn out. Trust me. You can know. If you smart enough to research it as a dude, you can know. There are signs. Trust me, there are signs. You know what I mean? Especially when you get up in that 30 range and you've had too many partners, it shows. It shows. You get what I'm saying? When you've had when you've had different, you know what I'm saying, you know, every shape, every size, you know what I'm saying? It shows, man. It shows. So I implore my female viewers out there that if you're just out there throwing it, stop, man. It's not going to benefit you in the long run. Trust me. And you know what I'm saying? Don't use other people as examples, because the exception does not make the rule. Okay? And I like to give advice like this even in my reviews for stuff like this, because they're kind of dealing with those kind of topics in the show. And you know, it's funny when you see the contrast between what it was like in the 60s versus what it's like today. And I know it's kind of like, you know, this is, you know, it's fiction, but it's also very based in how it used to be. You know what I'm saying? My mom lived through the 60s, so she can tell me a lot, and she had it not as good as she has it she had it today. You know what I'm saying? And I could tell you stories about, you know what I'm saying, stuff that I've discussed with my mom, you know what I'm saying, of how things used to be back in the 60s, you know what I'm saying, when she was very young, right? And it's nothing like what you know what I'm saying, it's a lot of things that is similar, but there's a lot of things that is very different as well, especially how women think. You know what I'm saying? How women think, and you know what their goals were. You know what I'm saying? It's not that women didn't want to work. You get what I'm saying? But they understand that getting a husband, being with someone, it's better. Having a man that goes out and work and you stay at home and you take care of the household, that shit works. That has not changed. It still works. But the problem is, You have modern women, they fight against this so much, and I don't understand why they fight against it so much. I mean, I don't understand why that is such a stigma. Why it is such a stigma? Why is it bad to be a housewife now? Why is it that housewife gets so much flack from women that are out there working in the field? Isn't that what you fought for? Isn't that what feminism is all about? Equality, being able to do whatever you want to do. So if a woman wants to be a housewife, let them be a housewife. Why you gotta dog them on the internet? Why you gotta talk bad about them? Why you gotta say they want to be a slave? Why you gotta talk all of this stuff just because that's what they want to do? You want to work, but there's consequences to that. Don't wake up one day in your 30s and be like, where's my husband? Right? You weren't actively looking for one. Or you were, you're just out here just having fun, your sexual liberation and all of that. That's cool. Do you, but then don't wake up one day and be like, we're all the good men. Because you probably passed on so many of them. Okay? So wise up. I hate to go on a rant about these things because people always come at me in the comment section and saying this and that and whatever. And I just be like, listen, my belief is my belief. You know what I'm saying? It's not even about, and a lot of the stuff that I say is very grounded in reality. A lot of people out here, their common sense is grounded in complete delusion about what's real and what's really not. You basing everything you do on hope. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. But either way, I said what I said. This was a great episode of Mad Men. Topic that I wanted to touch on there because, some people, they're afraid to talk about this stuff, especially on the internet today, afraid of getting canceled and all this other stuff. Listen, I'm going to say my piece. If they want to silence me, they can silence me because it's their platform, whatever. YouTube, and all these other ones. YouTube is the only one I'm on because I don't do Twitter, I don't do Instagram, because I think for the most part those places are just a cesspool of trash. But it is what it is. But yeah, man, great episode. Looking forward to the next one. Hope you guys are enjoying the reactions, man. Leave a like, leave a comment, whatever. Rebut what I said, whatever. I said what I said, and I hope that Peggy eventually, I hope she eventually starts taking care of her son, because I don't like to see mothers. I don't like to see mothers. I don't like to see fathers neglect their kids, especially when they're right there. She didn't give up the kid for adoption or anything. He's right there. She doesn't even know how this kid is being raised or anything like that. She won't tell Pete that he has a son and all of this other stuff. Like, I know that he's married and all of this other stuff, but dude, he needs to know this. He needs to know that he has a kid around there, because he's going around acting like he doesn't even want kids. You know what I mean? So she does need to tell him that, that he has a son. Because I think maybe that will change his perspective on certain things. Maybe. I don't know. Pete is a weird person, for to say the least. To not be empathetic in a moment like that, or at least not being sympathetic in that moment there, because you're essentially going through the same thing. You're married to this woman. You found out that you're very good, right? That you're good, right? Because we knew this. We know that he doesn't have a problem, giving kids. You know what I'm saying? Nothing wrong with his sperm count or anything like that, because we know that he has a son, right? But he doesn't know that. So with her, we knew she was the problem. Like, without them telling us that she was the problem. Know that she's the problem. But in a situation like that, when a woman is going through something like that, you have to be sympathetic to that situation. You have to be, and understand what she's going through. You're married to the woman. Being extremely insensitive in that scene really made me hate Pete even more, because it's just, you just don't do that. As much as I don't really like his wife that much, because I feel like she married for status, if you will. You get what I'm saying? So it's a weird situation how I feel about her, but it is what it is. Anyways, I'm probably going to chop this I'm probably going to chop this review down later on for the YouTube edit, but for now, for all my Patreon fans out there, you're gonna have to bear through all of what I just said. Anyways, thank you guys so much. I appreciate y'all, man. Leave a like, leave a comment. Catch you guys later, man. Peace.